Hey, Harpslingers, welcome to the Harpslinger Podcast, where each and every week we hang out with the greatest harmonica players in the music business. As always, if you're watching this on the Hohner Music Facebook page, we implore you to share this to your own personal Facebook page. Help us spread the word about all of these wonderful harmonicas that Hohner is making and the harmonica players that are playing them. We have a great one this week, and I'm super excited to introduce him because this guy's become a good friend of mine. So without further ado, let me get into it. My next guest is a 2019 SPAH Pedersen Award nominee and two-time Florida Harmonica Champion, who's bringing harmonica to the forefront of the Florida blues scene by bringing what he has learned from Sonny Terry and other greats to the stage, studio, and the Paradise Coast Harmonica Workshop, which I believe he founded and is just around the corner, happening this June 10th, 11th, and 12th. And I know he's got a great slate of workshop people that are going to be helping him out with this, but we're going to let him tell us more about it. Here he is, my buddy, Jerry Fierro. How you doing, Jerry?
Hey, Jamie, what's happening, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Any better, I'd be twins.
Right on. Well, you're skinny, so if you were twins, I'd be okay, man. You wouldn't be too.
I actually am a twin. I have a twin sister.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And you're actually you're one of many. You have like 10 kids.
Many. There were 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're down. I think we're down to 7 now.
Okay. All right. Your parents.
But, I mean, we're getting old. You know what I mean? We're getting old.
You don't look old though, man. You look young.
Yeah. Well, I'm still a baby.
It's that
in the family.
In the family, you're the baby. Okay.
In the family. Yeah.
All right. Great. Yeah. So was your family a very musical family? Did you grow up with music around you very much?
I grew up with a lot of music around me. Like my mom was really big into Harry James and, big band stuff, Frank Sinatra. She was totally into it. So there was always music playing. We always had great parties. We had this huge family. I mean, the whole extended family. My father had 13 brothers and sisters. Oh, man. And my mother had 3 brothers and sisters. And just so Italians, they just keep having kids. It stopped in our generation. I have 2, but we'd have these intense parties in the backyard. My dad would bring a band in.
Wow.
Josh Hollenbeck, I remember it to this day, man. And it's just like a kind of a jazzy band, standard kind of a band, stand-up bass, just great stuff, And I have memories of my basement having the wallpaper was all like it was red and black and white with LP records and saxophones and trumpets and music notes. Yeah. And that was the decor. And then my dad had a bar down there called Big Dick's Inn.
Nice.
So he had a sense of humor. Yeah. And I just remember late on like New Year's Eve or something. It would already turn to New Year's. Everybody's practically gone, and just grooving to jazz. You know what I mean? Grooving to like Gene Krupa and stuff. So right. I remember. I have distinct memories of that, and it was very cool. But as far as musicians in my immediate family, my brother, when I was young, I want to say when I was 10 or 11, he's a couple of years older than me. He played the accordion.
Okay.
That was another inspiration because at these big picnics that we would have, he would sit and play his accordion, and all my relatives would throw money in a bucket. And I'm like, ooga, It's a 10, 11-year-old kid, when you really want money.
Yeah. Because
there's a candy store, a toy store, like within walking distance of my house. So that was an inspiration. Then when I got a little bit older, I have a cousin. My brother, before I go to my cousin, my older brother, Ben, is a great oldie singer. Loved doo-wop music and always sang. I always remember him singing. I think he was in a band, Rupert and the Raindrops at one time. Just a local band, like we're all in local bands around here. But really tremendous voice. So around 15, we put a little group together called the Mellow Tones, and it was my brother, my cousin Tony, who was my harmonica inspiration, my first harmonica inspiration.
Okay.
His friend Pete and me, and then we would just go, we'd get together. My dad had a gas station, and we all worked there. So we would hang out in the office when there were no customers, and we'd just sing doo-wop and a cappella stuff. Oh, wow. And we had a couple of gigs, a couple of little neighborhood festivals and stuff. It was fun. And then I found the harmonica, and that was out the window.
Yeah.
Tony, my cousin Tony Merlino, he was in a band called Harlequin, and it was a rock and roll band. I want to say 1974 ish. So Zeppelin was real big, Tull, you know, there were a lot, you know, that type of band, that rock and roll stuff. They all had long hair. Yeah. There was always chicks hanging around. So, you know, so now I go from being an 11-year-old looking at the tip bucket to a 15, 16-year-old looking at chicks, you know what I mean? So it all fell into line. Yeah. So I picked up the harp at 16. And I don't exactly remember. It was at a party, and I heard some blues, and that's when I knew. That's when I put the harmonica and the blues together, and I was like, "Man, this is cool." Yeah. So I I bought some harps, and immediately someone introduced me to a guy named Bob Palucci. I call him Bob Hoochie Coochie Palucci. As a matter of fact, I had it. Let me reach here. This is the belt that I had made way long ago. Okay, my harmonica belt. Yeah. All right. Yeah, this has got to be. Well, I probably had it done when I was 17 or so. So that's a long time ago. That's 45 to 46 years ago, something like that. Yeah. And I had one made for Sonny Terry, but Sonny Terry, there's a couple of pouches right in the center that are left out, and it's got his name stenciled there. Tom Halchak has that belt. Oh wow! And I'm sure he'll put it up for sale one of these days. He has a couple of Sonny's belts, and you know, most people know he has the estate harmonicas from Sonny that sells. He sells them in a shadow box with a certificate and all of that stuff. Right. And but Bob Hoochie Coochie Palucci had one too. His said Hoochie Coochie on it. But you know, I used to sneak into Paul's Bar and Bowling in Clifton, New Jersey, and he was a regular there. He was older than me. I think he was 18 when I was 16. And my friends would say, you know, Bob Palucci, man, he's a great harmonica player. So they introduced me to him, and right away, man, the guy was like totally cool. Took me over to his place. And just took me under his wing. I mean, I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, and he said the first thing he had to tell me was turn the harp over. You know? But I don't remember that. It might have been another one of his students, but yeah. And what he told me in the beginning was, look, there's a lot that you can play on the harmonica, and much less that you can't play. So I'm going to try and show you what not to play first. You know, in context. Yeah, right. And so before I was 17, I was in bands playing on stages, you know, so I advanced probably 3 or 4 times faster than most people do in that first year. Right. Enough to where I was able to, you know, kind of express myself and be able to not get kicked off stage. You know what I mean? Right. You know, I host a blues jam every Tuesday night, so I know what it's like. Yes. When amateur harmonica players come in, and I love it when they do. I really do, because I give everybody a chance. I give everybody a great amount of time on stage. Yeah. But you can tell progression. You know, some are faster than others. Yeah. But this guy got me from 0 to 60 in a very short period of time, and we've always remained friends. Great player from Long Island. He's from Pedersen, New Jersey, like me, but he lives in Long Island now. I know he was part of the Long Island Blues Society. There's some stuff on YouTube. Yeah. You know, you could find some stuff if you search him, but great melodic player, really melodic player, golden melody player. Okay. But he's also a great guitar player, and I think he'd rather play guitar more than harp. Yeah. But he's really good at both. So right on. With the name Hoochie Coochie Palucci. Yeah, Hoochie Coochie. And I think I might have given him that name. I'm not sure. I have a terrible memory. You know, there's certain periods that I really remember well, but then there's some that I can't. And the music, a lot of the early music stuff is what I can't remember because, you know, I partied a lot when I was a kid. Yeah, sure. Well, all kids, that's what they do. That's what we do. Right. You know, my first band was the Son Louis Blues Band. Now, it was really just Son Louis in the beginning. There was a rag called the Aquarian magazine in New Jersey. And it was, it was your typical, what's happening where, who's the hot bands, what clubs.
Yeah.
And it had a classified section in the back. And this guy was looking for a harmonica player. He was looking for musicians to play with, right?
Yeah.
Now he's a few years older, not much. I'm 62. I think he's 66 maybe. College educated, bright dude, historian of the blues, man, knows everything. So I went over there, and it was me who auditioned, just to go meet the guy, and a blind violinist named Scarlett.
Okay. And
Scarlett wasn't very good.
Right.
So I ended up, he liked what he heard from me, and now seriously, I was probably only a few months into playing.
Yeah.
So I didn't know shit. And so I played with Son for quite a long time. I mean, from 16 to probably 18 or 19. And then I got into a different type of band, it was more rock and jam, Grateful Dead,
right?
Blah blah blah. Okay, Jerry, play the horn parts in this one. Okay, play the keyboard parts in this one. I said, it's a fucking harmonica. You want me to play the horn and the keyboard parts? But it was a good education, After you get over that stage of, hey, it's a harmonica, it's not a horn, it's not a piano. I'm grateful that I did that, because really it gives you a whole nother perspective on playing music.
Absolutely.
But yeah, right in the beginning, it's not fun, because no matter how hard you try, you can't make it sound like a horn section,
Yeah.
Or a piano or an organ. Nowadays you can, with all the pedals that we have.
Sure.
God bless Lone Wolf.
Yeah, absolutely. I pull out some of those occasionally in my, when I'm playing in live shows. It's a great bonus.
It's a tool, another tool in the toolbox.
Absolutely.
But Sonny's, we've remained tight over the years. Just spoke to him last week. He just moved to the Poconos. He's looking at retiring from his job. He's got a studio in like a back house. So, looking forward to continuing that relationship.
Right.
Probably via the internet, doing some.
Yeah.
I'm just finally starting to get a little tiny bit of a grasp on, my DAW. I just used the free Reaper program. It's great.
Yeah.
A lot of people are using it.
Yeah. But
I'm finally getting a grasp on it. And so he'll probably send me some files, and, hopefully things will happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Sonny was great. I played with Sonny, and then I played with that other band, Impact. And now it's 3 really good looking brothers, right? 2 twins and their younger brother. Your status, here, I'm going to frame your face here. Super good looking guys. So, I just collected shrapnel from those guys. So it was good. I had a good time.
This is Impact you're talking about.
This is Impact. Yeah.
Did a lot of touring with in around the metro area there with this band.
Yeah, Jersey, just the Jersey circuit, basically, a little bit in New York. Very, very few out of state, like Pennsylvania or Connecticut or Delaware. Very few, very seldom. But we did cover the whole state of New Jersey, like from all the way down in Wildwood all the way up to Nanuet, New York, and beyond that too.
Sure.
Some really great clubs back then too.
I was speaking with Rob Paparozzi a number of months ago about music in New Jersey. Well, the metropolitan area of New York,
right.
New Jersey specifically, and how much great music has come out of there, but is still happening in New Jersey. New Jersey is, I was impressed. My wife's from New Jersey. So, she took me to the shore, and she knows a lot of musicians. So I was able to meet and hang out and go see a lot of great music in New Jersey. You would never have to leave the area.
No, well, I mean, when I was growing up, they were great. We had the Stanhope House, which I think may have just closed. I'm not certain of that. Don't quote me on that. But that was one of the greatest blues rooms around. I mean, all of the touring acts, Muddy, all those guys would when they were traveling, they would play the Stanhope House. And the address of the place was 2 High Street. So, these guys, it was just a ball. There was upstairs where they had the green room. And then downstairs was it was an old historic house that they opened up. and it was just some really great shows. Ask any blues guy you know, and they probably know of the Stanhope House.
Okay.
And then you go, you said to the shore, but it's technically down the shore.
Sure.
It doesn't matter where you're from, it's down the shore.
Sure.
But you know, the Stone Pony in Asbury Park,
right?
You know, totally super famous club. But there were many clubs all the way up and down. And it, you know, the pay was decent back then in the 80s. I don't really remember too much of the late 80s or the 90s.
Yeah.
But I remember the pay just kept going down and down and down. I don't think it's very good now, according to some friends. Just I'm talking about the club scene, the bar scene.
Yeah.
Probably because there's more musicians.
Yeah.
Because they all friggin' moved down here to Florida. Yeah. You know, because it's so nice down here.
They're getting wise.
Excuse me. They're getting wise.
Yeah. I mean, well, you know, it's like there are still a lot of bands playing, but there's also like a lot of DJ things happening, a lot of other sorts of factors, I think, that come into that have driven the price down for a lot of venues. It's kind of unfortunate. You know, there used to be, like as you said, in every club had a band, you know.
It seems to happen in stages like major events, like now COVID. So now COVID, now the club owners have the excuse that, hey, I haven't made money in 18 months or 15 months. Right. You guys got to give me a break. You know what I mean? So I'm hearing that a lot. And, you know, we were totally for it. I mean, I've been fortunate. I have 2 steady gigs during the week. One is on a Monday, which probably didn't start up until I want to say September. But the Tuesday night gig, the Blues Jam, it's called Mudbone Blues and Beyond, because it, you know, there's really great players, and it's not really a blues band, but the guys are all pros. They can definitely pull it off. Yeah. But the bass player is David C. Johnson from you know, Neville's family. Aaron Neville's bassist and music director, played with the Nevilles many times, been his bass player for 20 years.
Wow.
And I just heard that Aaron retired.
I just heard that
a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. Good luck, Aaron. I mean, thanks for the music, bro. It was great.
And you're going to have a full-time bass player now.
Yeah, I don't know about that. He's pretty busy, dude. Funky, man. Funky bass player, great singer, great guitar player, great keyboardist, great drummer. I mean, he does it all. He's just one of those guys, you know. And then the guitarist is more of a progressive rock, like killer progressive player, and then also jam, like a jam band kind of player. But he's so well rounded. He does a solo with a looping station that is incredible. It's just incredible.
Wow!
Like when you see it.
I've been tuning into Mudbone shows on the interwebs. But
well, that's that guitarist, Ray Nesbitt. Yeah. He also does front of house sound for John Lodge of the Moody Blues.
Okay.
And other projects he does. He did last year. He did the cruise with Asia.
Wow. Yeah. All right.
You know, which David was involved in. David, the bass player, was involved. And then our drummer, Bill Pedersen, just a fabulous all around, kick ass timing. Is crazy. You know.
Yeah.
As P.T. Gazelle would say, these guys get more chops than a butcher shop. So it's blues and beyond. So, you know, we welcome all musicians to come and hang. And we've been doing it for 10 years. This is our 10th year at the same place. We've been through like 4 or 5 different owners.
Okay.
I hope when you get down here, I hope when we finally do get together down here, that you come and hang out on Tuesday night.
I will. I watch them all the time. I'm already hanging out with you just by, you know, long distance hangout.
I know, but the Facebook Live thing, it just doesn't capture it. You know, the sound is not what it sounds like in the room or on the stage. So, I mean, I listen back. I mean, it's not bad, but it is what it is. You know, I just did it I started doing it just like my Thursday night Zoom hangouts. Yeah. I just did it to keep people connected to the music and to each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they're not just, you know, home vegging out or just, you know, getting caught in the YouTube, Facebook vortex of just scrolling and
you know, that's one of the things I really love about you, man. You're so open and welcoming, and you have that good spirit, and I think that the harmonica community is, in fact, I talked with a lot of people about this very thing. What a wonderful group of people this harmonica community is, and people are really genuinely friends. And I've been to a number of your Thursday night Zoom hangs, and I think they're open to anybody that wants to.
They are. I mean, anybody. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about harmonica. Yeah. We're talking about each other.
Yeah.
We're laughing a lot. Sometimes it gets a little crazy. But we have ways of kind of curtailing that. Like if the coronavirus talk gets going and picks up momentum, somebody will put up, John Hirsch will put up a banner, coronavirus with a circle and a thing through it.
Right.
And so, there's a couple of things to draw our attention away from when we get locked into the stupid conversation.
Totally.
Very, very, very few arguments.
Well, but I mean, I've learned a lot just sitting there and listening, and listening to like PT, for instance, discuss his instruments, and Tom Halchek came on and discussing how he's sanding reed plates and things that I don't really know that much about, and
Todd Parrott, one of my best friends and one of the greatest players on the planet as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. Last week brought up what a great position, sixth position is for playing minor stuff on a country tune harp. So guys, if you got a country tune harp, pick it up and play a minor song on it and just fool around a little bit. You're gonna find some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
These hidden gems of things that you may never think of.
Yeah. But, and just stories too. Like Jerry Portnoy's been on a couple of times telling some of those old stories, man. They're just great. We saw them on your podcast, which was fantastic. I mean, because if they come on my thing, it's usually for, just to say hi, tell a story or two, and then, take off. They don't hang out like some of us, are there until, from 9 until, sometimes I'm not off until midnight.
Yeah, right.
So you never know. And I work during the day down here. I got one more year of supporting my family that way before, I tell them they're on their own.
and you hit the road with some famous blues band, right?
Well, you know what? I'm open to it. If the money's right. I don't think I'm going to do it for $400 a week. You know what I mean? But if the opportunity presents itself, I'll definitely entertain it for sure. I've never done it other than just, tri-state. But I would love to. I would really love to. I'd love to go to, maybe I'll just audition for percussionists for High South Band. They're pretty good. They're good guys.
Yeah, I mean, we could do harmonica duos and stuff. It'd be great. So if anybody wants to go and join your Thursday night harmonica hang, can you give us some information about how people could get to that?
Sure. Just look at my Facebook page. Usually on Thursdays. Sometimes I do it on Wednesdays, but mostly I'll do it on Thursday afternoon or Thursday morning. I'll put a post up on my Facebook page, and then I'll comment with the link. Mm-hmm. So I'll probably be usually the first, unless I forget, which I have done in the past. I'll just comment, and
put the link in there in the comments. Right?
And then also, this you run this on Facebook too, right?
Yes.
From the Hohner page.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if this airs, I'll chime in with it there too. I'll put it in there, and I'm pretty sure you can copy from there.
Yes, I can. That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, I'm not astute yet. I'm trying to. One of my Zoom guys actually, he's teaching me how to use OBS software, and I think it's called Open Broadcast System.
Yeah.
But it's a streaming program,
right,
where you can add a lot of elements. I can get rid of this background and maybe put Hohner, who I want to talk about next.
Yes.
Put a Hohner banner or something. You can have things flying across the stage. You can have, like a ticker tape on the bottom if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Really creative with that stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how he puts up the no corona. And other stuff. There's other ones too. There's other ones too that are great.
I love it. Well, you mentioned you wanted to talk a little bit about. I've got a number of things I want to talk about, but let's definitely talk about Hohner for a second. What I think those guys are great. By the way, I always try to throw the plug in. It's not an obligatory plug. It's because I really like these guys, and I say guys because, I'd use that as a blanket statement, but everyone there at Hohner has just been wonderful. Such a supportive group of people, musicians first, who understand what musicians need. And, I'm just proud that they're sponsoring this podcast, and my relationship with them has just been wonderful. But, tell me about what you were going to say about Hohner.
Well, when I started the Paradise Coast Harmonica Workshop in 2018, I've been friends with Todd for a while now, since 2015. 2015 was my first SPAH. Didn't even know about SPAH before 2015. And I've been playing, for 40-something years, 47 years or something like that. And, I reached out to Adam Gusso, because Adam and I used to kind of run in the same circles when we were much younger, like 18 years old. He had a band just over the border in New York, and, my band was in New Jersey, and we'd kind of cross paths and hit up each other's gigs, and we became friendly, but then we lost touch. And I think it was like 27 years in 2015. And I just, I knew he had his thing going on YouTube. That's another thing. I didn't really start discovering the YouTube thing until probably 2012 or 2013, maybe even a little bit later. And so I went to Adam's page and got his email, and I sent him a nice email, wishing him well, and hey, it's been a long time. And he remembered me, and he said, his words were about SPAH. He says, if you're used to being the best player in the room, you won't be. So relax and have a good time. And it's so true. I mean,
so true.
When I walked in the door of SPAH, I think my jaw dropped open, and I just walked around SPAH for the whole day. I don't think I put a harp in my mouth until I was on my way out in the hallway jam.
Yeah.
And, then I only went for 2 days in 15. I think I went the Friday and then the Saturday with the banquet.
Yeah.
So I did experience the hallway jam at the end, which was, it's just always a blast. With a great cast of characters.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, for the most part on the Friday, I just walked around. I did talk to Todd. I met Todd. He's a very, very friendly guy. I met Jason for the first time. Jason was a little preoccupied, so we really didn't get to chat. I didn't really get to know Jason until the following year. But I've been to everyone since, and just one of my favorite things. But I talked to Todd about, I said, what does it take to be a Hohner artist? And, everybody has a little something different to say. He said, look, man, the best thing you can do is just send him an email, tell him your thoughts, tell him what you're planning. And, it helps to have a YouTube presence, which I don't have. Working on that. Yeah. When I get the recording thing down a little bit better and trying to edit stuff.
Right.
Then I'll spend time on the YouTube page, but I don't have a whole lot of time. So, I dedicate a certain amount of time to my work, obviously during the day, which feeds the family, and then my family, they come first. So I knew right from the beginning, like in the 80s, when things started to go, turn top 40, 70s disco era, things weren't great for the blues. Yeah. I mean, you had to be in a niche market.
Sure. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You had to know the right people. And I was busy with that band 7 nights a week in Jersey, when I should have really been hanging out with Rob in the city. You know what I mean? And because I would have probably become a different type of player, I would have probably learned more. But I have no regrets. You know what I mean? I was totally happy in it. And I met my wife in 84, 85.
Right about that same time. I
was transitioning. The band, the Impact band, was coming to a close for me. Back into the blues with Son Lewis. Lorraine came into my life, and we just hit it off. It was a good thing. I was comfortable. I was happy. I was playing. So I had the best of all worlds. You know, I didn't need to be a big star. I just wanted to play harmonica. You know what I mean? I wanted to be respected as a harmonica player, but I'm also a percussionist. So, you know, I had a little bit going on in different directions.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, taking care of my family was really a huge part of it. But early on, it wasn't so easy because I had employers that would, you know, go out fishing the canyon for 3 or 4 days at a time, usually around payday.
Yeah.
And I'd have to wait, I'd have to wait 2 or 3 days. And after you have kids, you know, you need that paycheck.
Yeah.
So my wife said, you know, I can't stand your job. I'm going to school. So she proceeded to go to school for 8 years. But she has her master's in physical therapy. She's been a physical therapist. So, you know, between the two of us, we do okay taking care of the family. So now I'm winding down. She's going to take over, and you know, we're going to have some fun.
Right on.
We're going to have some fun. But I wrote. Now I knew Gizzy, but I wasn't looking to be a Hohner artist back then because I just didn't have the confidence. And when Derek took over, I met Derek at SPAH. I met Drew at SPAH. They're really the only two. Tim I've met a couple times, but you know, if you asked him who I was, he may not know because I've never personally dealt with him. Like I haven't had him fix harps for me or anything.
Right.
But they're really the only guys that I know.
Yeah.
You know, all the other guys have moved on. The guys that I've met have moved on. Right. But two totally cool people and totally open. And, you know, I emailed Derek and he got back to me and he said, yeah, we'd be honored to sponsor you.
Yeah. Right on.
To make you an endorsee.
Yeah.
And so he sent me the contract and it was great. I mean, it's just really, it's been good. I mean, I don't ask for much. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I use Hohner harmonicas, of course. I mean, I started with Hohners. I've never strayed. I may have strayed in the early 90s for a little bit with Lee Oscars,
right,
when, you know, Hohner wasn't producing good harps. But I mean, I've always had them in my case.
Yeah.
And my first one, I think, was a blues harp. And then soon after, marine bands.
Yeah.
You know, and
sure.
But I never, you know, I didn't know how to fix them or anything up until just a couple of years ago. Yeah. When they blew out of tune, I just threw them away. You know I mean, if I had those harmonicas now, especially one in particular that I may have kicking around here and just never like labeled it.
Yeah.
There is I have some clips from Sonny Terry from my lessons that I'll play for you in a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's one particular lesson where he was teaching me how to hoop. But he was using a C harp and it's really high. And I told him, I can't get my voice that high. I can't sing that high. So I said, do you have an A harp? And he said, no, all mine's are packed to weight. And I said, well, I got an extra one. So he played my harp, you know, and I think I may have stored it somewhere, but I never labeled it. So I couldn't like take it out and say, yeah, this is Sonny's harp.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Right on. Yeah. Tell us about that experience, because that was what a mind-blowing experience. I mean, you studied with one of the archetypes of, you know, when people think of great blues and country blues harmonica players.
Sure.
I mean, Sonny is right at the top.
That goes back to the Hoochie Coochie Palucci days.
Okay.
Because Bob had also taken lessons from him. Okay. And I didn't know this until I was a bit better of a player. I think I'd been playing for maybe 2 years by then. I think this was 1978. But when I found out, I said, wow, how can I do that? He said, just go see him. Go see him at one of his shows and ask him.
Yeah.
You know, instead of saying, oh, I'll take you to introduce you, just go see him and ask him.
Yeah.
That's the way we did things in Pedersen. You know, come on.
I love it.
So I did. I saw him. I don't know what club it was. It was either the bitter end or the other end. Same room. Yeah. But it changed names a few times.
Yeah.
Down in Greenwich Village. And sure enough, I just went backstage. And I said, Sonny, my name is Jerry. I'm a student of, I may have said friend of Bob Palucci. He said, oh, yeah, I know Bob. Bob's a good man. And he said, you would give me lessons if I asked you. And he said, I sure would. So, and Sonny's been known for that, to have guests in the green room and sit there and actually chat with them and talk to them and, you know, take a photo or even play a little bit of harmonica.
Wow.
So I did that, and we set that up. And now this was a time when Sonny and Brownie were not talking.
But
They
they
were
went
on
through
stage.
phases, right? Where they went through
Say
some
it again.
they went through some phases, right? Where they were like they'd play together, but they weren't hanging together.
Well, it was 20 years they talked to each other, and then the second 20 they didn't. And it just got progressively worse. I mean, there's many, many stories, but one that I particularly remember, and it was that night that I met him. Just arguing on stage. Brownie would start an argument,
Right.
like, it's not time for no solo, and Sonny would say, "I'm not taking no solo." Brownie would say, "Well, it sounds like a solo to me," stuff like that. So nothing against Brownie. I didn't really know Brownie, and God bless him. He's a true hero of mine too. But when I went to meet Sonny, I said, "Sonny, what makes Brownie so mean?" I probably shouldn't say this, but it happened to me, so I have to. So Sonny said, "Jerry, I don't know. He's just a mean motherfucker. I think he's jealous because I got me an educated woman." I just died. I was dying. But yeah, from then on, I just would drive over to Queens. He lived in Queens, New York, and I would just drive over. It's about an hour drive from me, and I'd go in his basement,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd already be sitting down there and waiting for me. And first thing you say is, "You got your tape?" My little cassette deck. You press the record and play buttons at the same time.
Yeah.
Always had a good Maxell tape. Make sure I had a good Maxell tape to put in there.
Yeah.
And greetings to his wife Emma. Very, very, very sweet woman. Really sweet. They're both really super cool people.
Wow.
And then we'd start the lesson, and then sometimes it was an hour lesson. I forget how much it was, maybe $20 or $25.
Okay.
And in 1978, $25 was a lot more than it is now, but still, that was like dirt cheap. I expected more.
To be studying with a guy like Sonny.
Yeah, I was playing on the Jersey circuit, making $50 or $70 a night.
Yeah.
So to take a night's pay and pay a pro.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at the same time, I was taking percussion lessons in a place called Drummers Collective in Manhattan.
Sure.
Killer school, big.
Yeah.
Popular, very popular school. Great percussion teacher, Frankie Malabé, who's passed, and Gene Golden now, who's also passed. But just authentic players where you can learn the real deal, just like learning the real deal blues from Sonny.
Yeah.
So I was in it. But the lessons were an hour, and sometimes if Sonny was feeling generous, he'd say, "Well, what time we got? 7 more? No, we got 5 more minutes. We go a little extra. I'll give you 7 more minutes." So,
I love it.
That's what it was like,
I love it. So, what was his sort of method or approach to teaching harmonica?
Well,
what was that experience like?
I do it, and then you do it.
Uh-huh.
Now I took my lessons. Some people may have seen this. SPAH 18, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It was Tulsa. I remember that. It was Tulsa. I taught a seminar, and it was really more of a presentation because I took my lesson tapes and I broke them into little snippets, like minute, 2, some are 3 minutes, of what it was like. Mm-hmm. Showing people what it was like to take lessons back then when we had no YouTube.
Right.
And we're talking raw stuff here, so we're not charting anything out. There's no such things as tabs, you know what I mean? Unless you're playing "Oh Susanna" from the little fold-out sheet from the Hohner harp.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what I mean? Which, I mean, yeah, technically there were tabs, but nobody used tabs back then. It was, okay, I do it, and then you do it. And especially, I don't think those guys were very educated in terms of teaching music.
Right.
Know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, they didn't know what they were playing. They just knew how to play it. Yeah. Most of them. That's true for most harmonica players. But I find it to be the best form of teaching is one-on-one, face-to-face. You can look, what are you doing? Now, in Sonny's case, he couldn't see what I was doing.
Right.
So here's the first clip This is the first thing right out of the gate after the introductions.
I started Bob. I started off on a song my wife wrote. And we can start off like that. Let me hear you. Hit your heart. Oh, yeah, you was pretty good there. Bob was teaching you something too.
Right, so that's what it's like. Okay, let me hear you. So he gets a feel for what I can do. And then the first song was Mean Woman Blues that his wife Emma wrote. So here's a clip of that. That's him. Obviously, that's me.
No, wait. Do that. Watch me not do it. Do-de, 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 do. Do-de, 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 do. Do-de, do-de, do. That's the second one. Just hear the first one. So watch me. Listen to me.
It's obvious.
That ain't bad at all. Lord. Put this first start.
That ain't bad at all for his first start.
That's,
so he was always super encouraging.
Yeah.
Like never did he say anything disparaging.
Right.
So if we were doing something that was a little more difficult and he started to get a little frustrated that I wasn't getting it, he'd say, "Oh, we get back to that later." And then we just move on to something else.
Yeah.
You know, but it's as technical, I mean, as technically hard as it is to do it, it's very simple. You know what I mean? These riffs are very simple. You know, most players that are playing past 6 months can do that.
Yeah.
No problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the timing and the rhythm that he used. That's the Bo Diddley beat. So
yeah. Right.
When I teach a class of, intermediate or beginner, advanced beginner, that's the song that I work on because it's really easy. There's a couple of difficult bends that you got to nail. But other than that, it's really not that bad. What you have to concentrate on, and what I'm still trying to get right, is the dirty stuff that he did,
Yeah.
Because I never, and I listened back to my lessons, I never asked him what he's doing with his tongue. I never asked him that, which should have been the first thing out of my mouth, but back then it wasn't an issue if you were tongue blocking or lip person, not like it is today. I mean, it's like the War of the Roses today, But according to Joe Falisco, he typically plays like 2.5 holes at a time. His tongue is usually covering like 2.5 holes.
Okay.
And I hear some different things, and I know there's a few things that he did lip pursed, but I'm pretty sure most of it was some sort of tongue block.
Right.
And just getting the combination of notes that he does was pretty daunting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for instance, and I still, to this day, I don't think it sounds anything like Sonny. Just doing that side-to-side flutter. Here's a clip of that. Now, keep in mind, Sonny's blind. So if you asked me, you shaking your head? Because you didn't know.
Right.
Because it sounded to him like I was shaking my head.
And the little things I will learn you now about this. You ever tried that?
I've been practicing, but
Yeah.
Like, it don't sound too bad until he does it. And you'll know right away when he does it.
No. Hit it like this. Your mouth there, do. You shaking your head?
no.
Yeah, like that.
But now right here, he's going to say, no, that's not it. You doing this. And he does it. And then he says, but it's this. And he does it again. And they both sound exactly the same.
You doing this. But it did. What?
So, and that was another thing. That was another thing. If I wasn't getting something,
Yeah.
he would just go, mm-hmm.
Mm.
Like he'd never like rip you one, you know what I mean? He'd just go, mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds like such a gentleman. Wow.
He was great. He was really great. And he really, you know, I used to take somebody with me just to have in the car ride because it was a long car ride. And I also wanted my friends to meet Sonny because he was that open of a guy. You know, I asked him, you mind if I bring somebody with me along for the ride? Never had a problem. As a matter of fact, there are some conversations on the tapes with these guys. But the first guy I took was my teacher, Bob. And Bob said, maybe you should show him some hoops. And Sonny said, yeah, you think he's ready for that? And then they asked me, and I said, hey, I'll try it. But this is the result.
Show him a few hoots. Show him a few hoots. Think I should give him on that first lesson? It's up to you. Oh, yeah. Just suggest it, son. You up to that, Chuck? What? You up to that? I don't care. Yeah.
And I can't stop laughing through the lesson.
Do it again, one more.
I like it. I like it. Old John doing it. John like it. Did you get it, John? Huh? You get it? I got a little. Did?
I can't stop laughing. I can't get that high.
Yeah.
You need a lower heart.
Like a sick cat.
Long you tune with your heart.
As long as you're in tune with your heart.
You sound like a puppy dog.
Maybe not, huh? Maybe next time, son. There you go. Mom going high this time.
And after something like that, he'd say, okay, now you try it. You know?
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Just many moments like that. I have so many, and big laughs. Here's one more, and then we'll move on to something else if you want.
These are fantastic.
Just, you know,
Fascinating.
super big laughs.
Wait a minute.
This is like a tongue split thing he's trying to teach me. One of his famous songs.
You about to get it. Try. Don't give it up. Get it, shit.
Yeah.
See, you see what I mean about him? You know.
Yes.
Even though the big laugh came,
Yeah.
he would follow it up by saying, "You about to get it? Don't give it up, shit."
Yes, that's right. Wow.
Super cool. And then at the end of every lesson, he would say, "You got your tape on? I'm gonna give you a song that you go take home practice, bring back next week."
Okay.
So I have a bunch of songs here that he would do.
Wow.
Karina is one.
Yeah.
His Hootin' the Blues, Dirty Man Blues, Sitting on Top of the World. Another Hootin' song. That's how I have it labeled. So it probably didn't have a name.
Yeah.
Train Imitation. And there was one instance where he's singing a song, and in the middle of the song, the phone rings. Okay, and it rings like once or twice before he stops playing, and then it's just silence on the tape.
Uh-huh.
His foot, he stopped tapping his foot. Like you could always hear Sonny's foot tapping.
Yeah.
It was pretty prominent. You can hear it every time he played. He had his foot tapping strong.
Yeah.
And then when the phone stopped, he stopped tapping his foot. But if we go back on this recording and you just keep the beat right through when he stops.
Yeah.
He comes back in like, I mean, it's got to be at least 10 seconds later, and he's right on the beat, right on the beat. So that shit was internal with him.
Yes,
you know?
right.
But always super cool, super encouraging. I had wished I had taken many, many, many more, because, you know, this was 1978, 79. He didn't die until 86.
Right.
So, you know, just being busy, you know.
Uh-huh. And again, how old were you at this point? Like 18?
I think I was 18 or 19, something like that. Yeah.
What a life experience to have.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It was, you know, again, I wish I knew what I had.
Yeah.
So you know, anybody watching this, if you're looking to take lessons, I totally encourage it. Even if it's with somebody that's just a little bit better than you.
Yeah.
Always get with somebody better than you, and that's how you get better.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, use your ears big time. But if you want to take lessons from a guy, you know, like Jason Ritchie, do it. Just do it, because we're not going to live forever. You know what I mean? All these great players, and it's evident this past year. We lost Paul Osher, Ice Pick, James Harmon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know if these guys were teachers, but there are a lot of good teachers out there, and top-notch guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. So do it. You know, P.T. Gazelle has a beautiful half-valve harps, and in my opinion, nobody does it better than him on those things. Yeah. And I just listened to his live show. He does a live show maybe once a month. Yeah. On his Facebook page. It's awesome. It's just great. He plays them old standards. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's, you know, that's what I have to say. I mean, if you're even thinking about it, don't worry about the money. You know what I mean? Some guys are expensive. You know what I mean? But if you want to learn like them, do it. Record it. Ask them a ton of questions. You know, do it. Don't be like me. I was really shy and timid when I was that young, and I didn't ask questions, but thankfully I had the wherewithal to record everything. You know what I mean? So, and I learned it. I kind of stuck with it. You know, I can hoot the blues a little bit, not like him, but you know, I can get it. As Magic Dick would say, I can get down to it.
You can get down to it.
I get down to it.
Well, you know, Sonny Terry is played all the harmonica stuff, to my knowledge, on the Crossroads movie soundtrack. And I hear, I don't know if you ever saw that movie. It was from the mid-80s. One of my favorite movies. But I see people comment about that movie and how that movie was like the reason they play harmonica.
Turning point, right?
Yeah. And you know, I loved Willie Brown. Like, I thought his character was great in that. But when I was that young, I didn't even think of. I thought maybe that was actually him playing the harmonica, you know. But that was Sonny Terry, and Sonny Terry is the one who turned all of these harmonica players into harmonica players because they heard him play in that movie and didn't even know it was him. Maybe.
I see when I post about Sonny, I see it all the time. You know, I'll get comments that say Sonny was the guy that brought me to harmonica. Yeah. The guy, you know, he's my first influence. Yeah. This is my first record of him. You know what I mean? Like stuff like I see it all the time. But, you know, my favorite was when I saw The Jerk, and the opening scene was, and I had no idea. And this was after I had lessons with him. Right. And I had no idea. So, you know, I think I even saw it in a movie theater.
Right.
And the opening scene, it's Sonny and Brownie on the porch, and I'm like, oh man, this is great.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yes. That was
great. But yeah, he's got some great stories, and they're all, you know, there's a lot of them out there on YouTube, especially the story about Finian's Rainbow on Broadway, when they asked him to do that.
I'm not aware.
When they asked him to do that Hootin' the Blues, the producer said, I want you to do that, but you got to do it the exact same every night.
Right.
Sonny said, oh, I can't do that, man. But you got to do it I can't do that, man. But it's got to be exactly, I can't do that, man. And then one day he's in the hall, and the big boss is there.
Right.
And the big boss says, you know, we're really excited for you to do this. And he said to the big boss, well, how much you paying me? And the boss told him, he says, oh yeah, I do it exactly the same every night. You can look that one up on YouTube. It's
great sense of humor. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's wonderful. Well, you know, he was a great teacher. You're also a teacher. You're talking about making, getting out there and becoming a better harmonica player, taking the lessons. You have a workshop that's coming up in just a couple of weeks there in Florida, the Paradise Coast work. Yes, tell us
Harmonica Workshop.
Yes, tell
well,
us.
This is the third annual, so we just leave out 2020. That doesn't count anymore.
Yeah,
we just skip right over that one.
That's right.
I had it scheduled actually for April 15th, but thinking when I did, it was originally supposed to be in September of 2020. And then as it got closer, I realized it's not going to happen. But I figured, okay, April, we should have something down by then. But
yeah.
no good. I got close and I just didn't get enough people interested, so I postponed it again. Now, it's a real hard thing to do to schedule these things because, I'm not the only guy that does them.
Yeah.
And I take that into consideration. Okay, I know there's a collective. There's Todd Parrott's event, the Carolina Harp Fest, which is an unbelievable event. SPAH. There used to be more. We had the one in Petoskey, what the heck is it called? I'm embarrassed. Sorry, Steve. It's the Great Lakes Harmonica Retreat. I think it's called the Great Lakes Harmonica Retreat up in Petoskey, Michigan. So I think about this. All right. So I said, all right, if I wait till the fall, I may be competing with all these guys, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want all these workshops to really benefit and work because they're worth it.
Yeah.
Mine is, the early bird, which is over, unfortunately, was $145 for that you get 3 days of seminars from 10 to 5. Then there's a break from 5 to 7:30. And then I set up a full band where the first night is acoustic. We do acoustic jamming on the first night with a professional guitar player, bass player.
Right.
It's not a stage. It's just in the hotel lounge. But it's sort of a stage. It's a sectioned off area for music.
Right.
And instead of having the instructors, this is at mine, instead of having the instructors come up and do a whole hour-long set where everybody in the audience is just itching to play, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I just have them get up and do a song or two and then maybe even call somebody up to play with them. Or we just jam. You know what I mean? We'll get 2 or 3 harp players up there and we'll go around with a certain groove.
Yeah.
And then switch them out, but it's from, the jam goes from 7:30 to 10:30, 11 o'clock, whatever. The hotel loves us.
Yeah.
We did it. The last one we did in 2019, they didn't know what to expect. They had no idea. And I tried to explain it to them. I tried to explain what SPAH was all about. And this is going to be on a much lesser scale. But they're the same people and they got the same heart.
Yeah.
So they're going to want to play harmonica.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where they are, if they're sitting in the lounge or they're outside. Now, this place has a beautiful outdoor patio. It's got a big, beautiful swimming pool. But there's other areas in the hotel where you can go. There's a seating area. Like every hotel has like a welcoming area with nice, comfortable chairs and all that stuff. Yeah. But I told them there's going to be harmonica players everywhere.
Right. Right.
And if you're walking down the hall to your room, you may hear it there too. You know what I mean? But they were open to it. And then after the event was over, they just loved it. Yeah. And really, my first one, I think they blocked. I told her, block 20 rooms to start, and then we'll see. I don't know what to expect. It's really my first 3-day. The first one I did in 17 was a 1-day.
Okay.
So this was a different arena for me.
Yeah.
And they only booked 11 rooms, and that included 1 instructor room. So really 10 people. I had like 25 guys, but there was a lot of local guys.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? So they stay there.
Sure.
So, I'm thinking, okay, next year they're going to charge me more because I whittled them down on the price of the rooms.
Sure.
The seminar rooms.
Right.
And, I need a screen for I Skyped in Rolly Platt at the last one.
Nice.
Because Todd and I went and taught 350 kids, which, by the way, Hohner sponsored with Blues Band Harps. They sent me 350 harmonicas.
Great.
And they're awesome. I love those guys.
Yeah.
And so Todd and I left site and he taught 200 kids at his school he went to. And then I went to another school, but the schools Skyped in together.
Okay.
So Todd, I was kind of moderating
Yeah.
second school while Todd taught both.
Uh-huh.
And it was super successful. They loved it.
Wow.
They raved about it. We'll do that again for sure. Just obviously not this year.
Yeah, right.
So I Skyped in, but that's extra money for the screen. And, you know,
Yeah.
you want the table set up this way. And then midway, I think we need to change the table. Well, that's a labor charge, you know. So I'm thinking the next year it's really going to cost me.
Yeah.
You know, so when we talked, and, you know, that's one of the fortunate sides of COVID, the hotel was super slow too when I booked.
Sure.
So, you know, I said, check out what you got and what can you do for me?
Mm-hmm.
So now this year, for COVID reasons, they're giving me the big banquet room to do the seminars in for the same price they gave me the small breakout room.
Very nice.
You know what I mean? So that was very generous of them. And then I just recently added the breakout room as well.
Okay.
Figuring it'd be nice to do simultaneous classes.
Yeah.
Also nice to separate levels.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Because if you got a beginner in Rob's class or even Todd's advanced class, they're going to be lost.
Right.
You know? So the way I structure it is simultaneous at times, different levels in different rooms, different level classes in different rooms. And then if an instructor's not doing anything, they need to be available for the people.
Yeah.
So instead of going and hanging in the room for 3 hours until it's time for their next seminar, they're hanging around talking to people, you know what I mean? And they're giving advice and stuff. Obviously, they need time to do something.
Sure.
I'm not going to tell them, oh, no, that's not what I'm paying you for, because believe me, the money's not great. And especially for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't even worry about it. I've been saving my tip and my gig money for a few months now.
Yeah.
So because I don't expect to make anything, it might even cost me something, but that's moot because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm looking forward to this. I love these events. It doesn't matter. I've been to beginner events like that Ronnie and Adam show, hold, and I love it. I just love it. I just love watching people teach. Mm-hmm. I love watching the response from the guys that are learning when they learn something new. It's just awesome. When a player learns something new and you see that light go off,
right?
You know what I mean? It's just, and these guys that are teaching for me, Todd is an incredible teacher.
Todd Parrott. And
I've never taken Rob's class, but I've watched some of the stuff online and he's prepared. You know what I mean? These guys are prepared. They have they have sheets. They have a plan. You know what I mean? It's not, they don't just get up in front of the class like me sometimes and say, okay, what do you guys want to do? I mean, I don't do that anymore. I prepare, but I'm not trying to teach at this point. I'm a beginner level teacher,
right?
Not teaching beginners, but I mean, on the teaching level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a whole
I'm still new to it. Yeah. I'm still new to it. And that's why that's another reason why I go, I go to Jason's collective, which is fantastic. Jason always has great teachers. Jason's a great teacher himself.
Yeah.
So again, if these guys are looking and they really want to learn, man, go take a lesson.
And it's not too late to come down and be a part of.
No. There's still room. I think I'm only at 27 or 28 guys, which I'm happy with. I mean, 40 would be great because then, we'd all make a little bit of money for our trouble.
Right.
And 40 is a nice number.
Uh-huh.
And we have tons of room. There's plenty of room for it.
Okay.
I mean, this hotel, the rates are pretty good too. I think it's their group rate for the event is $92.
Mm-hmm.
And for Florida, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You come down here, you're pretty close to the beach in Fort Myers.
Mm-hmm.
You got downtown Fort Myers, which is a hub, you know what I mean, for nightlife.
Yep. Definitely.
Bonita Beach. We got a big blues festival here, usually in March. That's really taken off the last few years. That's run by Kevin Barry. He does a lot of music stuff around. He's a promoter around. He's just an all-around great guy. You know what I mean? And so there's a lot happening. There's a lot of support here for the music.
Yeah.
It's not all blues. Kevin Barry is a big blues fan. He's the one that does the Bonita Blues Festival.
Right.
And he has another thing, this concert series, the Center Bar concert series. I think it's every 2 weeks during the summer.
Okay. And
he brings in bands from all across the country. Like Shamika Copeland will be there. JP Soares and the Red Hots or whatever band that he feels like bringing, Gypsy Blue.
Okay.
All these great touring bands.
Yeah.
They're right down the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's, I know Nashville, it doesn't compare to Nashville.
Well,
but,
that's okay.
Yeah.
Nashville doesn't have a beach either.
Right. This is true.
Yeah, we're in the weather.
This is true.
It rains here. Like it's practically a rainforest. I think it's like we get like as much rain in Nashville as like Seattle, I think.
I don't know if June will be in our rainy season. It doesn't seem like it, like what it is right now.
Yeah.
It's been pretty dry.
Yeah.
So it may be fine, but usually typically in Florida, it's usually 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
3 or 4 in the morning, and at 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Right.
Like clockwork. You could set your watch to it.
Yeah.
Downpours for 20 minutes.
And then it's over.
And then it's over.
I like that. It cools things down for a minute.
Well, not in the summer. It kind of makes it like a sauna in the summer. It's hot here. It's hot here. If you come down, you could probably expect high 80s, low 90s, but it's been great lately. The humidity's been low. Yeah. So it's really easy to bear. It's really easy to tolerate. It's really easy to sit by the pool.
Uh-huh.
Not that if you come to the event, you probably won't have much time, but you do have that 2-hour plus break after the seminars are over. If you don't hang around and dawdle and talk, which most people do.
Sure.
Before they go back to their room and grab a shower.
Part of the great experience of the camaraderie.
It's like SPAH. I mean, I liken it to SPAH because it's the mentality is the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Guys just come to play harmonica, talk harmonica, joke around, have fun. They don't want to be bogged down with like, okay, you got to do these scales, there's a time. You do it during your lesson. I tape everything. So everybody goes home with an audio.
Okay.
I send them. They don't go home with it. I'll edit it. And give, when you're in a class and everybody's playing at the same time, you know how that can be.
Oh yeah. So
I'll edit some of that out, but they get the lesson digitally. So I'll send it to them, and then there's usually a notebook that we have. I have a bunch of stuff like here. Like if I do this is Todd's stuff. I don't know if you'll see it in the right, but here's just a very simple chart that just tells you what notes are in chord 1, chord 4, chord 5, right?
Right.
Just a lick,
Sure.
just the one chord. Harmonica scales in second position. Major pentatonic, blues, minor pentatonic. Simple little things that they can take home.
Mm-hmm.
And just get it. But what I do, what I typically do is I'll try and get them more with the timing, because these sheets, I mean, it's great if you have a backing track going or something like that, and you can read it fast enough and get it from the page to your brain fast enough and then out through the harp.
Right.
But when you don't have that music and you look at a tab, there's no timing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hee-haw, hee-haw.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it doesn't do much good. You really need to hear it. You need to feel it. So I mean, at times I will use tabs. Like I'll tab a song out. Like this year, I'll probably tab out a Sonny song or two to have. But you need to have that background. You need to have some kind of click with you when you're trying to do this stuff, because his stuff is so syncopated. I mean, you can really get technical if you wanted to.
Sure.
Chopping up the syncopation, but it's hard. That's hard to do in a classroom with a bunch of guys. You know what I mean? That's more of a one-on-one thing.
Yeah.
And I come from the Sonny school, so nope, that's not it. Nope.
Do it again.
Like this. Right. Nope.
So who's on your teaching staff this year? It's Todd Parrott, Rob Pepperozzi. Is that right?
That's correct. They're the main. I'll be instructing, and then for one night, Connor Frontier is going to come and help.
Okay.
Support. He's going to help me out in any areas. Like the last one I had Steve Geiger.
Oh, nice.
And I asked Connor to kind of audit Steve's class and help the guys out, because Steve's a monster player.
Yeah.
And his explanations of stuff were a little more complicated a little too complicated for a beginner to understand. You know what I mean? So Connor's there helping these guys out. He's even teaching on his own. You know what I mean? If I have time, I would love it if he taught, you know, but he's just a good friend and he's going to come and help me out.
Great.
You know, hopefully I could afford to get him a room or a meal or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he's out of the goodness of his heart, he's coming, and I truly appreciate it. I mean, it just means the world to me that these guys actually want to come and do my event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Todd, he said, no problem, man. Anything you need. Anything. Todd, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. He's a good dude. He's a really good dude. He's salt of the earth, humble dude, and
so much of that in this community.
Loves harmonica, just loves it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, always playing. I mean, you see him on the Zoom. He's usually playing piano or something.
Yeah.
While he's listening.
Right.
You know, he just loves it.
Yeah.
And I actually have a couple of really good players just come. They want to come. They think they need to learn. And, you know, everybody needs to learn.
Yeah.
And I get it because that's why I go to these things too. I know I'll pick something up.
Yeah.
Like when I go to SPAH, I specifically beeline to Felisko, teach me a riff, Joe.
Yeah.
Just teach me one riff.
Yeah.
Last time I asked David Barrett, I said, look, I'm having a problem with this one thing. It's in my head. This is what it sounds like. And he said, okay, do it for me. And I did it. And he said, doesn't sound that way on this end. So, I mean, that's something that I don't have to think about anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was something that really got me while I was playing. You know, if you get distracted while you're playing, like you don't really want to think too hard when you're playing.
Right.
So if something comes into your head that's, you know, very evident, it throws you all off. You know, and that was one thing that was throwing me off. And of course it was on the 3-hole draw. But he said, it doesn't sound that way from this side of the harp. So it's got to be something with my embouchure and the, you know, the tonality that's going on inside my body.
Right.
But I always, you know, pick 2 or 3 things. Like, and SPAH's a 5-day event. You think they want to learn a lot more. I just pick 2 or 3 things that I know I can handle. You know, and then the rest of the stuff, if I learned something, great. If not, you know, I'll listen to a recording and get it later, you know. But that's my goal when I go to one of these things. So it's but you always got to keep in mind that you want to have fun. Even when you're playing, even if you're a serious player and you're playing, you want it to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't want it to always be serious.
Right.
You know?
I agree.
So, well, of course, you know. Professional.
I
I hope one day to be a singer. I mean, I got this great singing coach.
You know,
but the problem is when I get online with him, I end up bullshitting most of the time. So. Everybody, that's Jamie, my singing coach.
Right on. You're sounding great, by the way. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
I appreciate that. I don't consider myself a singer at all, but you know, you have to try. Singing is huge.
It
is
is
a huge part
huge.
of harmonica playing.
Magic Dick talked about it last week.
I've listened to every one of your Harpslinger podcasts.
You know,
I didn't quite finish the Magic Dick one yet. That was a long one.
It's like, well, that one's sort of epic. You know, he's an epic guy. So, you know, we just kept going, and I'm like, if this guy wants to keep talking to me, you know, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So, you know, that's I always say this is part of the reason that I got into doing this podcast was because I love, like you say, I love being around harmonica players. I love gleaning information from them and learning and the camaraderie. And I've just been overwhelmed by how cool the community is. And everybody's so welcoming and encouraging and willing to share ideas. And you know, I don't think you find that in all other like areas of professional life. You know what I mean? I don't know if guitar players are like that or not, because I don't really play a great enough guitar to go hang out at a guitar forum or something like that. But you know, I don't know. These guys,
I think we're in a league of our own.
Yeah.
You know, maybe oboe players might be tight because they're a small community. I don't know.
Right. But
You
yes,
know?
I hear what you're saying. Yes.
The Hohner indoor seat over in China, what's his name? Long. I forget his first name.
There's a number of them. I played with one of them in LA at the NAMM festival, Anaheim.
Yeah,
chromatic.
but he plays oboe. So when we see him at SPAH,
Oh, okay.
we sing, he's got his oboe working.
He's got his
He's got his oboe working.
yeah, not his mojo,
Yeah,
but
not his mojo.
I love
But he's a fantastic player all around, man. Great jazz player, great classical player, great blues player, just all around great. One of those guys that you just want to stab because he's so good. You know what I mean?
The guy I was talking about is a guy named C.Y. Leo. Cy Leo.
Oh yeah, Cy Leo. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Boy, that.
Yeah, they're buddies too. They're friends.
This guy's a sweet, sweet guy. Really nice, and man, he can play. The first night we played at the Hohner, there was like Hohner party up in the room, and we played like a real fast version of Folsom Prison and asked him to sit in, and he was doing it on chromatic. And the next night, I was thinking, wow, I kind of hung with this guy. It was like, it was pretty cool. I mean, I felt pretty good about myself. I was like, hey, that wasn't so bad. Then I could tell the next night he came back, he'd actually gone through that song once before he came in, and he just slayed it. It was so awesome. It was just like, wow, man. It was just fantastic.
Yeah. Todd told me a story of him going to China, and he said little kids, like 5-6-year-old kids, are playing Flight of the Bumblebee on diatonic. It's crazy. It's crazy. Tansy Lou, you could see her on her Facebook. Everybody's her friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know who I'm talking about.
Uh-huh. Definitely.
Flight of the Bumblebee, this was from like 3 years ago, and I think she's only 9 now. Flight of the Bumblebee perfectly on a diatonic harp.
Frightening.
Frightening, yeah, it's frightening.
Yeah.
That's my goal here is I want to teach these kids.
Mm-hmm.
I want to introduce harmonica into these schools. So instead of maybe playing the recorder, they have a harmonica class. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That'd be great. Yes.
Right?
I'm into it. Yeah. The advancement of the harmonica.
We could show them that there's techs out there that will fix your harps up.
Yeah, we got our own community.
Introduce some young kids to this.
That's right. I'm with
right.
I'm so with you.
Spires won't know what to do with himself. He'll have so much work on blues bands.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
Well, Hohner, I'm super proud to be a Hohner endorser. They're great. They just sent me a box of goodies for my event.
Yeah.
The Harp Blaster mic, the new mic.
Yes, I have one.
I got a bunch of the flex cases.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have I got a bunch of harps. We're gonna, and I have other sponsors too. Lone Wolf sponsored me with a clean cat pedal.
Nice.
Which I love. I have it in my pedal chain. Blows Me Away. Donated Bulletini.
Nice.
And that's another favorite of mine. My recording. I have. Can I reach off screen here?
Sure, you can. Do whatever you need.
Sorry.
It's okay.
My apologies. No. This is my CD, Live at the Dogtooth. This is the place we play on Tuesdays.
Right on.
And I was telling you that guitar player that does sound for the Moody Blues.
Right.
He came in one day and just set the room up and record. And man, what a great recording! It's a little self-indulgent because it's 7 songs, but it's not an EP. I mean, the thing is an hour and 15 minutes. So some of these songs are 10 or 15 minutes, but it's fun. We have a good time.
Yes, right.
Recording. Yeah, you can get that on my website.
And people can tune in on Tuesday nights and watch Mudbone in action on.
Usually. I mean, I've been thinking of ending that.
Yeah.
But I probably won't.
Yeah.
It's hard to get through the jam portion of it because, most guys understand it's a jam.
Yeah.
And we don't turn anybody away. You know what I mean? A lot of guys have pro jams, but if we did a pro jam, we'd have nobody in the place.
Right.
Because pros don't want to come and listen to us. They don't want to sit there for an hour and listen. They want to get up and play it and go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some do. Some like it.
Uh-huh.
But again, it harkens back to, at the workshops when you have an instructor play a whole set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Granted, it could be Buddy Green and you want to see an hour's worth of this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want these guys to play. This is all about the people that come and pay for this event. they're going to get a chance to play.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, now this may not pan out. The plan was on the Thursday night to hop in a few cars or maybe rent a van or something. And there's a club 5 miles away that the guy I usually have entertaining has a regular gig on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
He said, just bring everybody to the gig. We'll have a big full stage. It's a big bar, big, huge tiki hut. So it's kind of inside and outside.
Nice. Yeah.
And down here, that's the way to go.
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, for a band to invite 30 harmonica players to come and play,
Yeah.
you know, and we would just take it over. You know what I mean?
Of course.
He knows because he did the last one.
Yeah.
And there's clips of that stuff on YouTube too. He recorded all the nights and he put it up on YouTube. So
Sounds like fun.
if you search Paradise Coast Harmonica Workshop, you'll probably find it.
Right.
But yeah, all that info could be. But anyway, what I was getting at is that place closed last week.
Oh, okay.
They're
Okay.
switching owners.
Okay. Okay.
You know, so the transition was supposed to be smooth, but obviously it's not going so smoothly.
Yeah.
But we still have 2 weeks, so they might open back up.
Okay.
But that would be an added bonus
Mhm.
to just drive everybody to the place. It's a restaurant, so the food, everything is right there. They got a
Yeah.
big, beautiful tiki bar, but the sound system is really nice. You know what I mean? So that's a big plus.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have a bunch of amps there. My Megatone. There's a guy from Long Island who's attending, Scotty Machichi, great player, unknown guy. I mean, you'll know him. He's always demoing pedals and stuff.
Okay.
And man, dude's got chops and he's got a great tone. And it seems like it doesn't matter what he's playing through. So he's just one of those guys, you know what I mean? But he's coming down. He sold me a quilter. And I've always loved the quilter ever since I heard Westside Andy play through. So he's going to come and help me tweak that and get that set up.
Nice.
So I'll have that there. I got a bassman. If my friend Peter, who's registering, I mean, he registered Peter Krupowicz from New York. He said he's going to bring down all his amps. He's got Sonny Juniors. He's got a Megatone. He's got He's got all great sounding amps. He said, I'm going to just bring it all. Let everybody play through it. He's
Wow.
that kind of dude.
Wow.
If some of you guys may know him from, he bought 12 Joe Spires harmonicas. He had Joe make them 12 harmonicas, paid Joe to make them, put Todd Parrott combs on them, and then went on Facebook and said, I got these harmonicas that I'm going to sell you for what I paid for them from Joe because I want you guys to try out his harps. And they were gone in minutes.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
but that's the kind of guy he is. He said, I'm going to just bring everything down. He's got Dennis Grunling microphones. He's bring everything down, let everybody play through it.
It sounds
So,
like a
you know,
wonderful event, man. I'm
I know.
jealous that I can't.
I wish
be
you
there.
could make it.
I'm going
I
to
wish
come
you
next
could
year.
make it.
You know I'm going to be there next year.
Well, maybe you're going to teach.
Oh, well. Teach. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be a part of it somehow. Absolutely. I want to come hang.
Make it happen. Well, I would love to introduce singing to it too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, but yeah, your harp playing. I love your harp playing, man. That opening of your show is just awesome.
Oh, well, thank
I'm
you.
telling you, man. You need an outro. I'm telling. I think I told you that in the past. You need an outro too.
I'll come up with
You
an
know?
outro. Yes.
All right.
I'll do that for you for sure.
It's got to be hip like that.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I'm glad you like that, bro. And it's been great to hang out with you here today. Thank you so much for coming on the Harpslinger.
Oh, my pleasure, Damien. My pleasure. I love
You know,
talking to you, man.
you're one of those guys that everybody knows and loves, and I'm proud.
Everybody don't know me.
I'm proud to call you my friend. Thank you so much.
Me too. Me too. Remember, Mudbone.
Mudbone.
GaryFierro.com. If you want more information about the workshop, I do have room for probably about 10 more people.
Give us
but
the
I,
dates
you
again.
know, if you don't come, it's fine.
Give us the dates again.
It's June 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Right.
We start on Thursday morning. We start at 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I shoot for 9, but usually harmonica players, it ends up being 10.
Right.
And then we go to 5 with seminars, and we'll have some hangout sessions with the instructors where you can ask them anything you know, just chime in. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about interrupting anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're there for. And then after that, jamming for the rest of the night. You know, dinner break and then jamming, live jamming, not just jamming in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is going to be live on stage with probably spectators. You know, the hotel already told me they have a couple groups coming in that weekend.
Yeah.
So there's going to be people hanging out. You know, so it'll be just like a gig.
That's a great experience.
Yeah, except you won't get kicked off the stage.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a harmonica player, you're used to getting asked to sit out. sit this one out.
Not if you go to your workshop or one of these.
No, you won't get kicked off the stage unless you're stepping on a singer.
Yeah. That's right. I
got total respect for that.
All right, man. Well, thank you again. I appreciate it. I will see you soon. I'll be at the Hang. All right,
cool.
Your Zoom.
Yeah, that happens in a couple hours, right?
Yeah, that's right.
How long did we go?
I think
we went a while. We went an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's
Close
good.
to it.
Doesn't matter how long.
Yeah, 9:00 Eastern.
Yeah.
The link is on my Facebook page.
Right.
Friend me if you will, if you can't find my page, but I think it's public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's public.
You can get to it.
Mm-hmm. So, ladies and gentlemen, Harpslingers out there, 2-time Florida Harmonica champ, and my buddy, Jerry Fierro. Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jamie. Love you, man.
Love you back. Peace.
Thanks, everybody, for watching.